With that, I would like to welcome, I don't know who wants to go first, if you guys want to come up together, but Sam and Brooke are here now. Amanda, I'm totally putting you on the spot, but if there's anything you want to add or share about your experience since you're here in person, you're welcome to also. But we often have somebody who's completed placement as a student with us, share a little bit about their experience. And then, so we have Brooke here as she's a recent graduate and no longer a student, yay. Anyways, she'll share a little bit about her experience and her reflections. And I've got to say, can I out you a little bit? I cannot stress the number of times that I get a text or a phone call from Brooke saying to me, I love my job. She's like, I love what we do. So you'll probably hear about that. It makes my heart just sing. Sometimes I've been on vacation and it still makes my heart sing. It's really, really beautiful. So, and Sam, was started with us as a student as well, and is now working in a neurofeedback position with us. And we're super, super grateful to have both of you, and Amanda, super grateful to have you as well. Amanda does incredible work for us remotely because she doesn't live in the area, but yeah, is here joining us tonight. So with that, come on up. You guys can decide who goes first. Yeah, please.
Wow. So I wanted to talk to you guys about neurofeedback. That's what I do at the office. I started at ATTCH last October, like Lori said, as a student placement through Niagara College. I was immediately impressed by the model and trauma treatment. Lori generously offered me an opportunity to train for neurofeedback, and I wasn't actually very knowledgeable on it at that time. Immediately started looking it up on my own and got very excited about it. She pushed me into the training, and it was fantastic, and it just opened my mind up to so many opportunities and all of the different modalities of trauma treatment. And I've been seeing clients ever since. Right now, I just wanted to talk about this because this is kind of a new focus for my role at the office, is our waitlist management group for neurofeedback. I wanted to talk about it because it helps our clients gain control and recognize and regulate their symptoms and emotions while waiting for therapy. Sometimes our wait list can get long, and Lori is always trying to come up with ways for us to help our clients manage what they're going through in that meantime while they're waiting for their trauma specialized therapist. So we do have wait list groups as well, which I've been able to be a part of, which is super cool, which Amanda also helps with. Many of our clients have experienced childhood trauma or traumatic incidents in their life. And when you're in a state of stress, panic, or trauma, your central nervous system begins to run the show. And our clients often find day-to-day tasks very difficult. Their brains have not built the neural networks that they need to stay calm and regulated. So instead, their neural pathways have been focused on their survival and safety and hypervigilance. Neurofeedback is a way to help build new neural pathways in specific areas at relaxed frequencies so that our clients can take a much needed break from that stress and fear response. When something happens, I was actually explaining it to my landlord was outside my apartment today, and he started, I'm like the counselor of like my friends and family. Everybody just like unloads on me, and they're like, you're such a good listener. I'm like, no problem, let's hear it. And so he's like, my girlfriend Sam, I don't know what to do. And I think because I had already written this and I was preparing to come here, I started saying like, you get to, he's working on his car one day and he gets a phone call, a positive phone call, and then another positive phone call. And then the whole experience was a positive experience for him. Potentially his partner was trying to do something relaxing and she got an abusive phone call from someone, or she remembered her childhood trauma, or she associates it with that childhood trauma. So now, from now on, every time she gets a phone call, any phone call, and I'm sure all of us have experienced that too, you have to make a phone call to your doctor, or, the doorbell rings and our central nervous system takes over, our parasympathetic nervous system takes over, and we respond with fear or hypervigilance or stress, and our heart rate rises, and we start to become overly emotional about it. Neurofeedback is a way that almost like, streamlines meditation so that we're able to build new neural pathways at those relaxed, lowered frequencies, so that when the phone rings, we have new neural networks that don't immediately lead to this might be a threat. Instead, we get to go, I wonder who might be on the phone, right? And we get to actually practice those pathways and build those up. So I also wanted to talk about one client in particular. She had a traumatic experience surrounding her family and her children. And since then, she's been supremely focused on control of her environment and her family's safety. This has, when we talked about it and we're getting her set up for neurofeedback, she discussed her goals and concerns for the process, and it's negatively impacted her relationships and also her ability to relax and enjoy the rest of her beautiful and fortunate life, always constantly seeking control over her environment. During her first neurofeedback session, and I think about this often, she felt her mind and her body let go. And for the first time in a very long time, she relaxed. And this prompted a very emotional response from her. And and it was a very positive experience though in itself, because she just kind of gently cried. And she cried for herself almost in a grieving way, like, I deserve to feel this relaxation and I haven't been able to access that. And this gave me the opportunity for that. And so I think about that with our clients who are waiting on the wait list. They've experienced something traumatic. They're having such a difficult time to reach that relaxation. And the neurofeedback waitlist program allows them to access those tools and those neural pathways in the meantime while they await their trauma focused counselors. So just wanted to say this work through neurofeedback at ATTCH has been incredibly rewarding. And I get to witness our clients have meaningful moments like this and make shifts in their concerns and goals. We can't take away the hardships in people's lives, but we can support them while they build up their own resilience and rebuild their lives following trauma. And a note to the addictions piece. A lot of my clients have come in for neurofeedback and their goals are their addictions, whether it be marijuana use or alcohol use or nervous habits, even skin picking, nail picking. And it's funny because I can't take it away. I can't completely remove it, but by a few, 10, 20 sessions in, I love these aha moments that I get with my clients because they go, I want to use maybe they recognize when they use a substance, if they're using it for what purpose. And I think when you're drowning in your addiction, you don't realize that you're constantly using it for that negative purpose. And for some people, they might be able to use marijuana and be productive and they clean their whole house and they feel great. And then they, not supporting that, but they all of a sudden become able to recognize and control those emotional responses in a really positive way and support themselves. So it's been really rewarding and love doing neurofeedback at ATTCH. Yeah.
So what I was going to say is thank you, Sam, for sharing that. There are a couple of components with neurofeedback, and this should have been highlighted. It's in our in my executive summary. But we were renting one neurofeedback machine previously, and it's quite expensive. I've wanted to do this for probably about 10 years, but it's very expensive. So we got some funding to get started with the neurofeedback. I think originally through Mayport was the first place.
Niagara Community Foundation, a community grant to use neurofeedback to develop our assessment system.
Yes, that
started.
Yeah. So those were the two kind of earliest. So we had some funding for that, which was great. And that allowed us to supplement treatment with the neurofeedback, but we were paying monthly fees for it. We then received funding through the Niagara on the Lake Rotary to purchase a new neurofeedback machine, and St. Catherine's Rotary to buy out the rental that we had. So we now have two machines, which has allowed us. Yeah, so if you go on our social media, I actually did videos of a session, so you can see it. But basically, it's little sensors that go on the brain, and it's reflecting the brain's activity back to itself. It's like mirroring the brain's activity. So the neurofeedback we use specifically looks at very low and slow brain waves. So it's honing in like microscopically. And what it does is it's kind of neat through, you can play a video game, or you can be watching, like I really like the nature one, where you're like on a hike. There's, what else? You can watch YouTube. There's games you can play. And basically what happens is you get 3 layers of feedback. So the brain's activity is reflected back through visual feedback. So the screen will get smaller or bigger in some things based on what your brain is doing, or get clearer or foggier. There's tactile feedback. There's a little bear or a monkey you can hold that will vibrate more or less based on what your brain is doing. And then there's auditory feedback. So the sound will become clearer or quieter, or, more visible or less visible based on what your brain is doing. So what's happening is at a subconscious level, and it is highly subconscious. I'm very embodied and very aware of my body, and I have tried to make the screen do what I want it to do, and you can't. But eventually your brain just learns, oh, this is what I do to get more of this. And it just starts creating those shifts. So where people, when they start out, and I'm sure you see this too, Sam, when they start out, the screen's getting smaller and bigger and smaller and bigger. As they train, the screen just starts staying full size, right? Unless something is off, because the brain has learned, oh, this is what I do to bring about this. So it's pretty cool. It's very non-invasive. They don't have to talk about what's happened. We've just received a new grant, which will report on the results next year, because it's not last fiscal year, to do the waitlist neurofeedback treatment. And part of that is also providing treatment to staff for burnout prevention. So really cool to be able to offer that as well. So, and that's a newer grant. So